The biggest mistake? Yeah. Please give him a warm welcome. Paul J, everybody. Paul J. Yeah. Hey, everybody. Bumbershoot. It is very nice to be here in the cargo kilt capital of the Milky Way galaxy. Thank you for having me. Y'all are a little too comfortable with your bodies, Bumbershoot. Let me. Two examples of that, of little oversharing of the body. I saw a guy the first day here, had to be about 280 pounds. He was wearing, from the feet up, clogs, thick socks, a Yoda calf tattoo right here, a utila kilt, and a top hat. Go you. That same day, not 15 minutes later, I had to use the bathroom, the real bathroom, not a porta potty, the real bathroom in one of those gallery buildings down there. And I go to the urinal on the end, which I always do when there's a bunch of urinals. Nobody else is at the urinals. I go to the sixth one. And a guy comes in, walks past all the urinals, comes to the one right next to me, and as if that's not weird enough, he takes out his junk and he goes hands-free. It could not have been weirder if he'd leaned over to me and been like, "You want to get in on this?" Fucking odd. I came to the city intending to conquer. And instead, I was conquered yesterday by the Crab Pot. If you've never been there, it's a tourist trap restaurant. It's basically a hot, shiny room where you destroy small animals with hammers while the greatest hits of Gloria Estefan play in your ears over a tinny PA system. It's like an S&M club for small marine animals. I was just like hitting this shrimp and it still had its head on and it was like looking at me and I should be wearing a leather hood with zippers over the eyes. What's for dessert? Do I have to face fuck a sea lion? What do I have to do? I'm messed up. I ate so much shellfish at the Crab Pot, I can never be Jewish. Ever. That door is closed to me forevermore. I ate shrimp until my foreskin grew back. That's what I'm trying to tell you about. It was messy. I made a bad mistake recently. Have you ever done this? I went to see Avatar without getting really high first. Have you ever done that? You ever been the only sober person in an IMAX theater? That's a lonely road, guys. I went to see it when it came out, and it just got re-released, so I was like, oh, I was kind of ripped the first couple times I saw that. Well, I'll go see it sober and see if it's as good as I remember. It turns out I didn't remember it. Whoa, this is rough. There's some cool stuff in it, but the screenplay and the story and everything, it's like it was written by a hippie wizard who brings bongs to life to do his chores for him. And then performed by people who didn't know they were being filmed. It's so bad. There was one cool thing, there was this scene that was supposed to be in the original release. I think they brought it back for the new re-release. It was a little extra bit on the sex scene, because the sex scene in the original Avatar is blue aliens dry humping, fade up on shitty Enya music, cut to imaginary helicopters. That was the thing. And then they added this bit where they take the ends of their little brain cocks and wind the little dealy bobbers together, and they share a brain during sex. And that's not so much disgusting as it is just fucking confusing. You imagine if you're having sex with someone and both of your brains are controlling both of your bodies? That'd be a logistical nightmare. You'd both be trying to get on top, and then that wouldn't work. Then you'd both try to get behind the other one, like some kind of fucked up, naked, backwards leapfrog game that nobody wins. She goes down to suck your dick, you go down to suck her dick, and you bonk heads halfway down. How was your date with the alien chick? Oh, it was great, until I yelled out her ex-boyfriend's name in the middle of a tender time. Let me play a little movie-related trick on you guys. Here's a little movie prank. How many people here have ever seen a movie with Tyler Perry in it? Seattle, not many. Here is the trick. How many of y'all saw that new Star Trek movie that came out last year? Because he was in that. He was in that. He had this tiny, meaningless role Tyler Perry shows up, and I didn't even recognize him because he wasn't wearing his old lady makeup. he was just wearing the makeup that he normally wears when he's walking around. But I didn't even know it was him until after the movie, and I don't know what I was supposed to take away from that. Like, I want to tell this to anyone who's in like movie marketing and like makes decisions like this to put a Tyler Perry in a movie like Star Trek. The number of black people who like Star Trek is never getting any bigger, ever. There are plenty of black people who like Star Trek. They will teach their black children to like Star Trek, and thus the numbers will be maintained through the years. But you can't just put some random only for black people famous person in your cracker-ass science fiction movie and expect a big audience transfer. It's like if I went to see Soul Plane and I was like, this movie sucks. And then, wait, is that Wes Anderson as a baggage handler with no lines? Suddenly I like this movie. You know what else I suddenly like? Tyler Perry. I'm gonna give him another shot. So fucking silly. I'm getting married, everybody. Soon, fairly soon. I hope it's very soon because I need health care. That's right. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Because the cow gets a very nice corporate benefits package from the cow's internet marketing job that the milk on its own does not include for some reason. I've drank my fair share of that milk, and it has never contained antibiotics or new contact lenses. So if this here dairy farm hand ever wants to visit the dentist again, he's gonna have to put a ring on a cow. Sorry to say it like that. I don't like any of those expressions. All those expressions for marriage are sexist and horrible, like buying the cow, ball and chain, put a ring on it. They all reduce the woman to, at best, a domestic animal of some type, and at worst, dead weight. So, I don't know if I'm expected to join in on this, like if I'm supposed to be at parties and introduce my wife as my jizz camel or something. One drink lasts for 6 months, because it has to. High five, women are awful, I hate myself. So terrible. We love each other though, we get along great. We have the same problems we're both uneasy about monogamy. We're like, it's a good idea, but is it? But I don't know. And I know this because I know I have a problem because I have condoms in my toiletry case still. We don't use condoms, me and my girlfriend, but I just have them. Like Mel Gibson had that one bullet in Lethal Weapon, like someday. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm the one with the problem. But then we're on a trip together and I go in her toiletry case because I forgot my toothbrush. She has condoms in her toiletry case. More condoms than I have in mine. And that's when I realized we are like two people piloting a plane together. And like, you trust me to fly this plane? Absolutely, I'm flying this plane. We're flying this plane together. We're not gonna crash into anything. This is gonna be great. We're in this together. And we're just covered in parachutes. Covered, like our arms, our chests, our legs. And every time one of us sneezes, the other one goes for a cord. Like, we're gonna... And I told that joke to my girlfriend and she was like, well, it's safer than a plane with no parachutes. She gets it. She gets it. I want to wind up with a tale of the stupidest anti-drug commercial I've ever seen. And if you've been watching and laughing at anti-drug commercials for as long as I have, you know that's really saying something. This was an anti-smoking ad that I think was the only anti-drug ad to ever get pulled for being too stupid. Think about that for a second. Here's the ad. It starts with a woman in an office, like in a cubicle, and she looks bored, and she looks at her watch and goes, ooh, and she goes over to the side of her cubicle where there is a wet bar with mixers and booze and a blender and stuff, and she makes herself a big old pineapple Mai Tai boat drink with an umbrella in it, takes that outside to a little courtyard where a bunch of people are smoking cigarettes, and she sits down with a cigarette and her giant Mai Tai boat drink. And the announcer says, hey, you don't drink every time you smoke. Why would you smoke every time you drink? Here's why. Because effects come after causes. That's why. That's how the universe works. Drinking makes you want to smoke, gravity makes you fall down instead of up. You can't flip that logical relationship around and act like you've scored a rhetorical point. You would never see an anti-pot ad that was like, you don't do a 4-foot bong rip every time you dip Doritos in chocolate ice cream and then eat the whole bag. Why would you dip the Doritos in chocolate ice cream every time you do a bag for a moment? You don't do 9 lines of cocaine off a coffee table every time you butt fuck a stranger in a nightclub bathroom. Why would you butt fuck a stranger every time you buy cocaine? You don't smoke PCP out of a Sprite can every time you throw a police boat into a zoo. Why would you second thing every time first thing? It's basically, you can take a shit, why can't a shit take you? That's stupid and you're stupid. I'm Paul J. Thank you guys so much for being here. Bridgetown for life! Good night! Paul J.